struggle, stories of life.
Welcome back, everybody. Cappuccino here on another great episode of Let's Talk Local. Listen, we have a special guest today. And before I bring Lisa in, you guys got to check this out.
Hey, it's Brenna from Monster Inc. Looking for your next tattoo or piercing? Come check out Monster Inc. Tattoo and Piercing Studio in Crystal Lake. Our talented award-winning artists specialize in a wide range of tattoo styles from bold traditional and black work to fine line, realism, color, and custom designs. Whether you already know exactly what you want or need help bringing an idea to life, we're here to make it happen. We also offer professional body piercing in a clean, safe, and welcoming environment. The #1 destination for kids' ear piercing in McHenry County. We use high-quality implant-grade titanium jewelry along with other premium jewelry options such as 14 and 18-karat solid gold, because your safety and healing always comes first. Visit us at 4 East Terracotta Avenue in Crystal Lake, right next to the beautiful Veterans Acres Park. Or give us a call at 815-322-6679 to book your appointments. We can't wait to work with you.
Welcome back. Hey, listen, we are here with Lisa Orris, author, Never Apologize for Your Tears book. She is a grief counselor?
No.
How do you know what? I'm going to let you talk about you because you're going to be way better at it. So before we start that, you're in the grief space, correct? Tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me what was the dream? What brought you to that?
Mm-hmm. I always say that I wish I wasn't brought to it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
that's a tough subject.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We were gathered at our family home for my youngest son's 21st birthday, and we were getting ready to all go out and celebrate. And a McHenry County sheriff pulled up to my front door, and I couldn't imagine what a sheriff would be doing at my front door.
Oh boy.
And, they said, "Is this the Orris home?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he asked very weird questions. He was like, "Is everybody in the home?" And I was like, "Well, no." I said, we're waiting for my son, Billy. And I don't remember much about that day. I just remember this young man looked very uncomfortable, and he finally asked me if he could come in. And I said, okay. And he said, "There's been an accident." And I said, "Well, is it Billy? Like, where is he? Can we go to the hospital?" And I don't know what made me ask the next question, because I don't remember much about that day, but I just said, "Is he alive?" And he put his head down and said, "No." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah,
really,
exactly. Yeah. So this work is not something I would have chosen. I kind of call myself an accidental activist because I learned that very quickly that we're terrible at grief in our culture.
Oh, yes.
We're terrible at it.
Yeah.
People are uncomfortable. They're awkward. They're anxious. And so I'm like, we need to do better. And I'm finding myself in spaces that are trying to help people do better, not only in their own grief journey, but in the greater community, as we provide grief awareness training for funeral professionals, for school districts. So yeah, that's how.
Wow.
Wow.
That's a tough story.
Mm-hmm.
And, bless you for, being who you are today and utilizing something tragic to do something great.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about what it is you do and how you do it.
Yeah. So we launched Grief Guide about 5 years ago. And I had walked with people for years and was trying to kind of drill down on, well, like, what is it that I'm going to do? And I was like, well, I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained for that. Don't be that. But like a whitewater guide. That guides people down that river. They've been down it so many times. I guide people in their grief, and everybody's got their own journey. Everybody goes their own way. And It's not about solutions or fixing or advice or strategies. It's allowing people to go where they need to
go
go
through it.
Correct. To go through it. And I just am there to listen, to guide, to ask questions.
Wow.
Yeah.
We need like 1 million of you. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we have free support groups throughout McHenry County. And we did that on purpose because we didn't want grieving people to have to think about, well, how am I going to pay for this? Like what am I going to do? Because you can't even think straight when you're grieving.
No.
Yeah. So you don't have to sign up. You just show up, because that's how grief is. Like sometimes I want to go, sometimes I don't.
Yep.
Sometimes I need help. Some days I don't want to talk to anybody. So we provide that. And we also have grief awareness training that I talked about. And that's more for like people out in the field, right? Whether you're a healthcare worker or some sort of professional or a school teacher, there is grief everywhere because it is a human universal experience. So we go out and we do training.
That's that's very unique. So it goes for grief on both sides of the fence, being able to give it, right? Think about how many doctors have to give the news.
Correct.
And that are affected by it too. I mean, I understand that in the medical care industry, you have to break that news and you're part of that thing, but it's just what you do for a living. It's part of the job.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you're not affected by it, right?
Correct.
And how many times do some of those people, like you said, it shows up, right? You could be completely fine, and then within 5 minutes, it hits you like a ton of bricks.
Yes.
And then it goes away, and then it comes back, and then it goes away, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I absolutely love the fact that you have a training to where it's like, listen, this is how you not only deal with it for yourself, but how you can guide others around you
exactly
that are going through it.
Yes.
Wow.
And one of the things we teach that's like super important to me is we teach people, we give them tools about like how to be present with people who are in pain, because when someone's grieving, it can be very uncomfortable and you start to get anxious, and then right away you want to fix them and you want to give them advice and like say, oh my gosh, just get a hobby or go for a walk and you'll feel better. Right. So part of the training is to say, no, like we need to learn to have a non-anxious presence. Like if we're going to be with someone, we need to learn how to just sit and listen and be. A woman in my group last night told this beautiful story. Her husband died about a year ago, and she was the 1 year anniversary just passed, and she was really struggling, and she went out with some friends. She didn't know if she wanted to go, but she did. And a song came on and she just started crying,
losing it.
Yeah. And her friend didn't say a word. She just put her hand on her, and it was like, right. Like, and that's what grieving people need. It just needs to be witnessed and seen. It doesn't need to be fixed. Right.
Just be there.
Yes. And so we're trying to teach people to do that.
I think, that's great. I think there's a default mechanism in the human brain that thinks that if the person in front of you is grieving, you don't know how to act. So your brain instantly goes to, let's give comparison.
Correct.
I had, when I lost my brother, I had a lot of people that were like, yeah, I lost my grandma. I lost my aunt. I lost my dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, my brain's like, I don't care.
Correct.
I don't want to hear that at all. That's not comfort.
No.
Comparison is not comfort.
No, it is not.
But that's just because they don't know how to just listen, or sometimes just being there and being present is knowing that you're there. That is the support.
That's the gift, right?
That is the gift.
That's the gift. Because I've often said this, like, there is nothing anybody could have said to me to make me feel better about the loss of my son. I don't care if you're a wordsmith, if you're a great communicator, if you have quotes memorized,
right?
Like, no, like
if you're the human bumper sticker, sure. Right.
But otherwise, like, no, there's nothing you can say that's going to make this better.
No.
So we're trying to teach people that, like what to say, what not to say. What's the difference between empathy and sympathy, right?
Yeah.
Learning how to be present and all of these good tools. The other thing I say is that compassion is a skill that can be learned. Like we don't, as human beings, like we don't come out of the womb like full of compassion, like, but we can learn that and learn what that means to be with people without harming them further. Like people say, I don't think people ever intend to hurt a
I think the intentions
person.
are right?
Yeah, exactly. But they say like some of the most, like, you're like, what are you saying?
I know.
Like, please don't do that. Yeah.
You'll get some on one side of the spectrum that'll be like, well, that's just life.
Right.
Or you'll get some that want to compare.
Yep.
And that's because it's not intentional ignorance. It's just ignorance.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Sure.
I love the fact too that when it comes to dealing with people, I have learned, and listen, I have not gone through the grief guide, mind you, but I have learned that the more I say, the worse it becomes. So all I now say is, that sucks. And I had someone say, no, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay. But that's okay that it's not okay.
Exactly.
And I'm here if you need something.
Yeah.
That's really, and then you got to step away from it.
Exactly.
And just know, or maybe give them a check-in. Hey, just checking on you.
Yes.
How you doing?
Yes.
Can I bring some food? We're Italian.
Yes, of course.
Everything is done with
of
food,
course.
right?
Yes, yes.
You know,
yes.
I got some lasagna I'm running by.
Yes.
Or
it'll make you feel better.
Right. Let me give you some sugary donuts, because you know what? Nothing is like that palate. So we fix things in food, or we try to.
Yes, of course.
But those are great tools.
Yes.
To help guide through.
Yes. And one of the things I teach too is like just that. Like if you want to do something for someone who's grieving, don't expect a response. Like I always say, the social norms shift in the grieving process, right? Like don't wait for a response in text, or don't wait for a thank you. Like that's not what this is about.
Right.
This is about you showing up with food, putting it on the porch, or ringing the doorbell,
and maybe stepping away
and leaving. Yes, exactly. Because once you start to involve the grieving person, now it puts another burden on them, right? Oh, now I got to say thank you. Now I got to send a text. Now I got to write. Like, no, just do it and
just do it and move.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man, you're smart. I like being the dumbest guy at the table. So is there a right way to grieve and a wrong way to grieve?
No. There's no, that's one of the beauties, I think, of the whole process, right? Is that, and I think when we create these safe spaces at Grief Guide for support groups, there's no judgment, there's no limitations. What other people might think is not normal, we normalize. And we're like, for example, I have plenty of people who say like, I talk to my loved one every day. Is that weird? I'm like, no, that's not weird. If that brings you comfort, that's not weird. That's your journey. That's your grieving process, right? No, there's no right way. There's no timeline. There's no goal. There's no destination. It is, the language I always use is like, you're just moving through your grief, right? The best you can every day. You're learning to carry it because it'll always be with you, right?
With grieving people, what is one of the big fears? Is it like, I don't want to forget? Is that one of them?
I think that's one of them. I think not only do I not want to forget, but I think at least I know even in our family, my husband and I, is that no one will say Billy's name anymore.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And so my husband's like, everyone's forgotten. And I'm like, well, because everybody else goes on with their life. Like their life hasn't been completely shattered.
You're right.
Yeah. So I think I think that's a fear. The other thing that's huge in grief that's related to trauma is anxiety. So I have a lot of people who are like, and for me too, I was never anxious before my son died. And now I can go from 0 to 10,000 in a minute. And I think it's trauma, right? Death is trauma.
Absolutely.
Death is trauma. I don't care if it's a long-term illness, if it's a sudden tragedy, it is traumatic experiencing the death of someone you love.
Absolutely.
And so it affects your nervous system, all of it. And it just throws you and I think people are surprised by that in grief, because I'll have people be like, I'm so anxious, Lisa. And it's like, I know. It sucks,
and
but
there's in different stages of anxiety.
Yeah.
And there's fight or flight,
Yeah.
which is
freeze.
And listen to, let's talk, we're on that side of the fence, but let's talk about the other side of the fence for people that are around somebody grieving. And this, it sounds selfish, but it's not, because I think it's just a normal reaction. Is you start thinking about your own mortality, right? So you're like, oh, this is where I'm at in life, and they were, and they're once again, there's a comparison, but it's in their own head.
Sure.
So they instantly like, I'm going to be eating nothing but fish, and I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start doing all the right things.
Right.
And then through time, you're like, I think I'm okay. Right. Where's my beef sandwich?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
So is there I don't want to use the word counseling, but is there guidance for that as well?
Oh, for sure. So what I say is that we're based on peer-to-peer lived experience, non-clinical and non-formulaic is the way I would describe
nice.
Right. However, I have enough training that if I sensed someone needed more support or deeper work, I have, counseling groups, practices I can call on, and other partnerships where I can say, you know what, I think you keep coming, but I think you need something more. Yeah. So I'm grateful for those partnerships, because that's beyond my purview, my skill. Yeah.
It's the who.
Yeah.
That has the how, right?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had someone call you for just a one-on-one? Can you come over? Is that something you do?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I've been asked that a lot. We're not at the point of Grief Guide yet to be able to do that one-on-one. However, there have been certain situations that for me, I just knew the person needed extra support, not just showing up to a support group. And I'm willing to do that. And I have done that. And those are really, really hard things. And people are so broken. And
the human race, we're silly creatures, right? We don't know how to receive, and we don't know how to ask for help.
Right.
Some of us, I guess there's some of us that do. I can't speak for everybody.
Sure.
On the old blueberry, right? But have you ever come across a situation to where you're like, yes, you need to go sit in one of our groups. You absolutely need to do this.
Sure.
And how is that? How do people, first of all, how do people find you?
Yeah.
And how do they get in relation to I want to come to your support group, or I just want to know if I need to come to your support, because I'm sure there's going to be questions to that too. Of course. Because once again, don't want to ask for help, but yet are curious in the data on how to and where to go.
Sure, of course.
Right.
Yeah, of course. So mainly people find us either in the community, through the McHenry County Mental Health Board, because we're a funded agency.
Okay.
So that's kind of a direct route, but also through the website. And often people will reach out through email first, and they'll have some hey, I'm thinking about this, hey, and then I usually do a personal phone call and kind of hear their story, and then kind of guide them what I think, what group might work for them. And that's usually how it works. And sometimes I have Northwestern people referring to Grief Guide. So wow. I have other counselors who are this is great one-on-one, but you need some group. You need to be with other people and hear their struggle, how they're doing, what's working for them. So I'll get referrals then too from.
And there's a difference between, I'm going to compare how many people have been in that situation in my life and tell you my aunt has died and everything else, versus being in a group of people that are going through it right now with
100%, 100%. I always say pain speaks to pain every single time. And when you sit in that circle, you don't have to explain your pain. We all have it. Maybe not the same relationship, not the same loss, but we all have it.
Maybe not even same type of pain.
Correct.
But but you're in the trench.
Correct.
You're all in the trench.
Correct.
Right.
And I say that grief is the great
Excuse me.
grief is the great equalizer, because grief doesn't care if you're rich,
No.
if you're poor,
No.
if you have a job, if you have a house, it doesn't matter.
Non-biased.
Correct.
Yep.
And so when you sit there, there's just this instant connection and community that's so deep, because you don't have capacity to be managing some sort of image in front of people. Right. And
True.
so there's this vulnerability that happens that's beautiful. And these people are wise, and they are deep, and they are thoughtful. And so I always say, like, when I lead, I'm like, you are some of the most beautiful people I've never wanted to meet.
That's awesome.
Right?
I
like,
love
nobody
that.
wants to
No,
be in a
no.
grief support group. Nobody wants to be there.
Well, no. And two, sometimes grief brings people together. And when you go to that celebration of life, or what they used to call a funeral or a wake,
Right.
the first thing out of everybody's mouth is like, we never see you. Why has it got to be in times like this? Right. And
Right.
we should be more communicative to each other. And so
Sure.
I think that kind of gives an idea a little bit about how that can also bring people together.
Or
you know,
divide, right?
Or divide.
Or
Yes.
divide,
Yeah.
for sure. We talk about that so much, how family dynamics are completely also sometimes obliterated. And so people will often ask me that too, like, divorce is really high when you lose a child. And
Yes.
my
I
husband,
can see that.
yeah.
The connectivity that was the glue, the connective tissue.
Sure. And
for the
as we
relationship.
said, everybody's different. So yes, we both lost our son, but my husband, what comforts him doesn't comfort me.
Correct.
And so you can see how that can go. Like, Bill loves to listen to the last voicemail of Billy and hear his voice, right? Like, I can't.
No.
It's just, I can't. And so you could see, though, how sparks would fly. Like, why are you doing that? Like, that sounds like torture. Like, make sure I don't hear that when I'm around, right?
Right.
But we decided early on, and we had a wonderful counselor that helped us with this, and just said, like, you have to honor each other and respect each other. And that's what and
go through it how each individual would have to go through it.
And so,
just
like,
back each other.
Yes. Yeah. And I say that in families, like, look, you may have lost a spouse, but your children lost a father or a mother. It's
100%.
different. It's a different relationship. Yep. So you can't expect your kids to grieve the same way that you do. You can't. And so let's just respect each other and honor it. We might not understand it. I mean, I don't understand some of the stuff my husband does, but I want to honor that. But it can create lots of divide and conflict.
Oh,
yes.
Well, and to each other remind you of the loss.
Correct.
That was a connective tissue.
Yes.
Every time I see your face, it just reminds me of the loss.
Yes.
Of what we had and now we don't.
Yes.
And so the reaction to that naturally would be like, I think we're done.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
But knowing that there's still love,
of course,
backing it, you just got to get through that thick, dark cloud.
Yep.
And with guidance, that can definitely bring you to a different.
Sure.
You're always going to miss, and you're always going to be now reminding me of the loss is what I want.
Yeah.
Because I want to remember.
Sure.
And that was one of the fears we talked about, right?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's great. Hey, folks, real quick, that QR code up there, scan it. It'll bring you over to Lisa. If you have any questions or want to learn more about what Lisa does, hit that QR link below. If you click it, it'll also bring you right to fantastic Lisa. Let's talk about the book a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
So, Never Apologize for Your Tears. Let's give a brief summary, obviously, of what the book's about. How long has this been in production, and what are the next steps?
Yeah. That book took me 10 years.
Okay.
And it is my story. It is had to come out of me. I don't know how else to say it. Like, it just had to come out. And
it's documented, right? Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And I end each chapter with a grief practice, because I wanted to be able to give people something And they're just the practices that kind of help me along the way, like breath work, right? When you can't,
tips and tricks.
Yep. Like when you just feel like you can't, like grief is also described as like you feel like you're drowning, like you just can't even breathe. So you do some breath work, right? That helps your anxiety, regulates your nervous system. So after each chapter, I have some grief practices, but I boldly named the book Never Apologize for Your Tears because the first thing people do in public when they cry is they apologize, because we've been conditioned in our culture that if we show weakness, if we show vulnerability,
it's a sign of weakness, which it's not.
It's not.
It's actually a sign of strength.
Yes.
Yep.
I just had a woman last night. Her husband died tragically just a month ago. And she's been breaking down everywhere. And she literally said, I feel so ashamed. And I said, and everybody in the group who knows my book, they're like, we don't apologize for our tears here, right? Your husband was ripped out of your life by death. Like, this is the appropriate response. And so that's my mission, is to say, never apologize for your tears. Your tears are sacred. They matter. They mean something because they represent a life that was lived that is lost now. Right. So I'm hoping it helps somebody.
That's awesome. And there is a donation QR.
There is
on the. Where does that go to? How does that work?
That goes right to the organization.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And we say, like, if you need one, take one. But if you want to donate, we always need the support to help.
Yeah, in a world of financial craziness, especially right now, and this is still a necessary thing. And listen, folks, if it helps you and you're able to do it, support it. On this side of the fence, things aren't free either. And so, money comes out of pocket. You have a life, you have a family too, and everything else. But if you can get enough support, that keeps it going and it keeps it growing. And that's important. And it's important for other people too. I know that, and I'm going to quick story to it. Is when my brother died, I handle everything with humor or silliness or goofy, because that's just the cappuccino way. And when my brother died, my brother was an IT guy. And when I had to stand up at his celebration of life and, get on a microphone, which obviously I'm not new to, I asked the crowd, I said, who here has my brother fixed a technical problem for it? The entire room raised their hand. And I went, well, that's all done now. And not one person smirked or smiled or did typical. And then I said, too soon. And once again, and then inside I was like, this is how I grieve. And now I feel like the judgment from everybody is like, Dan's brother is kind of a jerk, and I'm like, okay. I guess my advice and question for advice would be, when those things happen, do you have to take yourself seriously on those intrusive thoughts of how you think people are judging you through that time?
Yeah, we talk a lot about that, right? Because there's a lot of judgment around grief, because everybody else knows what you should be doing. And everybody else knows how you should be grieving. So we talk about that a lot. And I think the general idea is, like, we generally know that people mean well, right? And when you see that someone's fumbling around, or like they're trying to say the right thing
outside the box,
there's a lot of grace for that, right? On the other hand, some people are just thoughtless. True. And so that
well, if you're the person grieving,
exactly.
My wife told me, she's like, I'm like, man, that was rough, and she's like, no, it was fine. And I said, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. She's like, no, you should have. You know why? Because he would have laughed at that. It's not about them.
Sure.
And I was like, I did marry a smart person, she was awesome through my grief.
Yes.
She was, thick and thin, and he was close to her too. And so I understand tragic, and I understand grief. I can't understand everybody's pain, but I can understand my own.
Of course.
And so when I look in that metaphorical mirror, and I go, okay, where am I at now? Where was I then? And how do I improve? And I love the tips and tricks on how what has helped you might help others. Because let's just be honest, a lot of go-to for serious grief is drugs or alcohol.
Yes.
And that's not the fix. That's just creating a new problem.
Correct.
You know, so if you have a source of information that can help get somebody through these times without utilizing those,
right,
it's probably a better bet.
Well, and another thing that we developed out of the content of the book and other content is a grief guide app. So it's a 24/7 mobile first in your hand, because grief doesn't come with appointments. It doesn't come scheduled.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So our thought was like at 3 a.m. when someone just needs to like watch a video or have a resource to read or something. So we have that, and funeral homes have it on their websites now, and hospices, and we're getting the word out about that. And that people, if you go onto my website, it says try the app, and then you can try it and you can see it. It guides you through your grief. It says who died, how long has it been, how does it interfere with your life, and then the content comes up to help you with that scenario. Yeah.
Nice. Is with funeral homes, is it like you need to go talk to Lisa? Is there like a, you know, because that's a nice little, you know, they're kind of the first people to see.
They are, yes.
Right.
So,
nobody likes going to a funeral home. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, of course.
I don't care how many snacks they have. It's not a great place to be.
No, of course not. So the funeral directors and owners that we're finding, they want to provide aftercare, like grief support, but that's really not their main focus.
No.
So that's what we help them do. So they put Grief Guide on their website. D. Fiore, Justin,
fantastic.
Colonial and McHenry, they all have the Grief Guide.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, and I was just with Maggie, the owner of Colonial and McHenry, and she's like, Lisa, everyone is talking about how helpful that's been at 3 o'clock in the morning, or at, you know, when there's nobody around, and I just need something to like help me know I'm going to be okay. Like I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're always adding content to that and updating it and all the things.
All great things, man. I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you.
And real quick, a final question. McHenry County, do we need to be in McHenry County? Can we be in Naperville? Can we be in Schaumburg? Can we be, are you strictly
well, our groups right now in person are in McHenry.
Are in McHenry?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anybody's welcome,
Yep.
of course. Yeah.
Okay.
But we hope to reach more people through the app with the support for sure. And grief awareness training, I'm being asked to go places in person to do that. So
nice.
Yeah.
What's the next steps for the entire model? What are the next big steps that you would like to see happen?
Right. So we're in a conversation right now about a Teens Talk Grief group. We've been asked, do we have one? We don't currently. So we are looking to see what that would be like, maybe once a month. I think there's a need. I think kids,
absolutely is a need.
Teens are dealing with friends who are dying by suicide and overdose. By the way, in McHenry County, deaths by suicide and overdose are called deaths of despair. And so that was one of my things, like, okay, well, what's the grief resource for that then?
Right.
Oh, well, there's a gap. We don't really have one. Oh, well, now we do. It's called Grief Guide.
Yeah.
Right. So that would be next steps.
I love that.
Yeah, that would be next steps for us in that way. And then we're doing training for District 155 coming up in September. We're also doing training for McHenry County College in October. We're doing a huge event on August 30th, like in a week. That's National Grief Awareness Day, but we're calling it Light the Lantern. And we're gathering in this beautiful space, and everyone gets like a floating lantern. You kind of write your loved one's name, and then we're going to put it out at dusk.
A new tradition. I love that.
Yeah, we're just going to pause.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, very simple. Very no bells and whistles.
Nope.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
I
thank you
appreciate
so much for having me.
You know, listen, guys, once again, QR code or link below. If you're going through some trying times, or if you know somebody going through some trying times, reach out. It never costs a dime to ask a question or to get some kind of relief. That's why Lisa's here. We appreciate you watching Let's Talk Local. Listen global.
Every story's worth a little bliss. From the heart of the town to the open air. Let's talk local. We're taking you there. 216 Creative Studios, where the magic starts. Local businesses, their real world